What's up, guys? It's Anns.
And Ian.
It's me, Maha.
You are insane.
I've been playing around with new intros. I don't know how I feel about
Is that
one.
Mario?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes,
Well,
it was. But
I'd never gone second before, so that threw me off.
we all looked a little confused. But anyways, welcome to Once Upon a BNB, guys. We have a great episode for y'all today. So when we first started this podcast, I was like, man, that's a really niche subject. Crazy Airbnb stories. Are we going to have enough content? I don't know. And then I did one Google search and that changed my mind completely.
Forever.
There's so much stuff on the internet about crazy Airbnb stories, crazy reviews. So we've got a ton of stuff for y'all today. We've got our sus situations. So we're all going to share a crazy Airbnb story we found online. Anns is going to share some fun facts with us.
Yeah.
We're going to read some hilarious, crazy Airbnb reviews. Ian's going to tell us some shit we never knew about traveling. And then we're going to wrap it up with The Price is Right. Little game time.
I love a good game time.
All right.
Yeah, you guys are going down.
Who's got our first story? Who wants to kick off our sus situations?
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay, so boom. Basically, in this story, I'm just going to read the recap of what the person wrote on the blog post. So, in quotations from their point of view, I used to work customer service for Airbnb. One night at around 4 a.m., I got a call from a guest saying that the place they rented was burning down.
Oh my God.
20 minutes later, I got a call from a host saying that a guest had burned down their place. It wasn't really my job to figure out whose fault it was or even what actually happened. But one thing's for certain, that place did burn down. So how would you all react? I know both of you all have worked or dabbled with Airbnb hosting and have properties. How would you feel if your property was burning the fuck down?
I've had some fire items in my properties before.
Oh, really?
Well, one time I wanted to work on my sleep, and I'm a little bit of an insomniac, and so I went no TV in the bedroom, and then I put a fireplace in there, just like one of those, like, you can mount it, and it's got, like, ethanol or something like that runs off of it, and then that made its way into my Airbnb. It looked kind of swanky. Mm-hmm. And then I had a couple singed pillows. And
oh, God.
Wow. That is scary, Ian.
Wow. You know, the lawyer in me, the first thing that came to mind when you read that story is if the house burned down, I just know the homeowner's insurance would find a loophole and say you weren't supposed to be renting Airbnb and probably not cover it. So that poor owner, if they owned the Airbnb, might be fucked.
True. Also, the blog writer makes sure to note that Airbnb customer help is not a fire department. Always call the emergency services before anyone else if the rental you're staying in starts to burn down. So, don't call us first. Call 911.
That is my favorite part is how the guest called and said that it was burning down, but didn't mention that they're the one that burnt it down. Like, yeah, this Airbnb is burning down. Don't know how it happened.
It could have been faulty wiring, something bizarre. Who knows? Probably a blunt, hit the floor.
It could have been a false accusation by the host.
Very
true.
I wonder how many stars that host gave.
I know, right?
As long as I just hope, hopefully they made it out alive. I think my most recent issue with fire was recently I was chilling with my homeboy. And you have the candle and you light a candle normally. But I guess when there's no wax left and you light it, it's like flames.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, this is too much fire. I think this is very dangerous right now. We just got to blow this out or something. Got really scared real fast.
Yeah, wow. You modify the lighter so it can shoot out a little more, and then it's just like
it's always way too much.
Yeah, that's how it
flamethrower. That's hilarious. Well, speaking of false accusations, that brings me to my Airbnb story here. All right, this was a pretty interesting one. I was staying at an Airbnb location in New York City at the height of the pandemic in April 2020. 53 days into a 60-day stay, the host contacted Airbnb and accused me of having COVID-19.
Oh, wow.
I had no symptoms and had since tested negative with the swab nasal test and the antibody test. Just after 9 a.m. on a Friday, I received a text from Airbnb that the host accused me of exposing her to coronavirus, and I had to leave within 90 minutes. Not only was my reservation canceled, but express booking was disabled, and I was told that I'd have to call to get permission to stay with another Airbnb host. I refused to leave, and the host called the police 3 times. But she first changed the locks. Just before calling the police the 3rd time, she began throwing my personal possessions onto the street. While all of this was going on, Airbnb was threatening penalties, although they didn't specify how much. Airbnb refused to refund a subsequent reservation, another location, at another location and only refunded a fraction of the prorated charges for the first reservation. Ultimately, I did use my second Airbnb reservation at my next stop without a problem. Airbnb did apologize for the situation, but it was so over the top, and the pandemic is still raging, so I would warn all guests. Also, during the 3 police visits, 9 officers were dispatched. It was very intense with the officers. I'm not exaggerating when I say I could have been killed. Thanks to the connections I had, I was able to get through to the commanding officer of the precinct and give him the facts directly. The host is still being investigated, the owner of the property is being investigated, and my complaint was found substantiated and is now awaiting departmental trials. The police are also being investigated. Finally, several agencies are involved in investigating Airbnb at the state and federal level. Who is this guy? How connected is he?
And could have been killed.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a black man, and 9 police officers pulled up. Yes, he could have been killed.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So the host accused this person of of them catching COVID.
Exposing the host to COVID, which, like, how?
How? Shared Airbnb, perhaps?
I don't know. And also, I guess I don't know for a fact that it's a man, but I just pictured a black man based on the facts.
Like, how? Like, I guess they were staying there for so long. They just was like, you've been here the longest. Because 60 days is a long rental. But you can't pinpoint who gave you COVID.
Exactly. And especially in New York, like, that shit travels through the vents of, like, these high-rise apartments and stuff. So who knows?
He'd been coughing a lot.
Maybe. He said he had no symptoms, though. My guess is that it was a 60-day stay. I know, maybe. My guess is that it was a 60-day stay, and the host probably was, like, sheltering in place and didn't go anywhere and then caught COVID and was like, well, it has to be my guest. Can't be anybody else. But definitely an overreaction, in my opinion.
Wow.
But I love the fact that, like, everybody's under investigation now. Like, this guy pulled some strings. Like, who is he?
Thanks to my connection.
I know, right?
Get this lady on the podcast. Or this black man
or this person.
on the podcast. Get him to hear both sides of the story.
Right.
Oh, I guess that means it's my story time.
It's
huh?
your turn.
All right. I have some stuff on the internet, but I have another happening. Not at my Airbnb, but my mom's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's in Dunwoody where I went to, I went to Marist, a Catholic high school. In Funwoody. And a girl from my high school, turns out, in my grade, is staying in my parents' basement when they checked out.
Oh, but wow.
My dad tells me that, and I'm
what
like,
a small world.
Yeah, and I was over at my parents' house because my Airbnb was booked occupied. And then he's like, go talk to Molly. I was like, oh, all right, yeah, awesome.
What?
And so she's waiting at the front door. I'm like, oh, this is all right. And so, like, I have this stupid mustache, and then I have the first big zit of 2021. So I'm going over there, and then Shafi calls me, and I'm like trying to be like, hold on, honey. And then put the phone down and then open the door.
Molly.
It's Molly. And then I answer the door and she's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And then I said, Holly.
Wow, Ian.
Yeah, it was because I was nervous and
y'all used to date?
No.
Why are you so nervous?
Like, why are you so nervous? Was she like the hot
Was she the head cheerleader?
Yeah.
She was that girl.
Well, I asked her to be on the podcast because she's getting back to me, but she loves Airbnb and she does it herself. She's a real estate agent and had 2 kids in our basement. And
does she not live here? Like,
so
does she have a home? Or?
Yeah, I think she lives in. I want to say it was Nashville. It could have, that's wrong, but it's somewhere nearby in the South.
Gotcha.
Then was she offended that you called her Holly?
Yeah, she was like, so you don't remember me? And I was like, I do. I swear.
I hate it when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. At least she had like a personal experience.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, this is the other thing, though. I mean, she didn't burn the house down or anything, but she. I was like, oh, awesome. She's went to high school, so I got her exchanged numbers. I sent her a link to the podcast. I was like, here's the episode that takes place, in that basement. Don't slam the door.
Yeah, nice. Did she respond?
And no, she was like, I'll give it a listen. Maybe she did on the way home. Maybe she did on the way home right now.
Maybe
but
not.
But so she the next day, my dad messaged me after she checks out, and he was like, well, the blinds are messed up at about 4 or 5-year-old height. Should we say anything? I don't think so. And I was like, no, don't.
Don't. It's awkward enough already. I called her Holly.
Yeah. So
that was a good story. Sorry, Holly / Molly. It was actually super
Please
fun
forgive
story,
him.
which ties into a fun fact. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So this fun fact is travel related. I tried to make it as travel related as possible. So You lose up to 30% of your taste buds during flight.
What?
Isn't that crazy? So it kind of makes sense as
But
to
I
why.
can't
Why
eat.
airplane food is so nasty.
Yeah, why it's trash.
Wow.
So that's basically what they say. This might explain why airplane food gets such a bad reputation. The elevation in an airplane can have a detrimental effect on our ability to taste things. According to a 2010 study conducted by Germany's Institute for Building Physics, the dryness experienced at a high elevation as well as low pressure reduces the sensitivity of a person's taste buds, etc.
Interesting.
This should just be like kale and Brussels sprouts up in the sky.
It's like,
Brussels sprouts smell like farts, so that'd be terrible on an
you
airplane.
don't like Brussels sprouts?
I love Brussels sprouts, but
They
they
just
do
stink.
smell like farts. On an
Yeah,
enclosed airplane?
30% is a lot.
I wonder if the dryness in the air also makes you get drunker in the air. Or is it just me? I feel like I get way drunker.
Yeah, I think it's the
I think that's a
altitude.
thing.
Yeah. So one time I was flying to Thailand. So it was like a 16-hour flight or something like
Crazy.
that. And I had the bright idea to bring a bunch of those little mini bottles of
Mhm.
alcohol, right? And I was flying by myself on a very long flight. So I'm crushing these bottles and I get hammered. But if you're sitting down and not talking to anybody out loud, you don't necessarily notice how drunk you are
Yeah.
until you get up to go to the bathroom. So 3 hours in, I'm blackout drunk. I fall asleep and I'm all right, good. I'll be able to sleep well now. Fall asleep, wake up, super hungover with 8 hours of the flight left
Oh my
still. And it was
gosh.
the worst experience ever. Being hungover on a plane is terrible. But
You were really taking them back, Maha.
I know. I mean, I was by myself, so I was just like,
Well, it's a
do.
hangover
One
in the
for
middle
me,
doing
two
like
for
your-
me.
Right, exactly. What?
That's just a hangover in the middle of your whatever you were doing. You know?
Yeah, I
not-
should have timed it better. I
Yeah.
should have done that on the tail end of the flight, maybe. But
In high school,
We'll live
back
and
to
learn.
that, we did Vodka Wednesday because Mayor started.
What?
Mayor started at 9:30, so you can go to mass, which was optional. So a bunch of idiot me. I don't know about Molly, but me and my friends, we were like, we're gonna go to the park and drink. So that's what
Yeah.
we did. And then you'd have a midday.
At 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
while everybody was worshiping.
And then had a midday hangover at lunch. Just
That's
yeah.
terrible.
So,
That's
Kappas.
hilarious.
So hopefully, I think Molly had better things to do than to spend her time at the Murphy Candler parking lot drinking.
How is it getting drunk that early? I guess you're young. So
Yeah, I
you're
was-
17.
I remember
That's
it being
true.
stupid and fun. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Next up, we found some pretty hilarious, interesting Airbnb reviews on the internets.
The internet is our friend.
So this is it's a blog of Airbnb hosts. It's an Airbnb host forum. So it's hosts sharing hilarious reviews. This is a review. She didn't even show us how to use the kitchen.
What? What are the rules?
Says 3 adults celebrating one's retirement. Now I show people the kitchen and tell them, this is the sink. You turn this knob. Here is the refrigerator. And I open the refrigerator door. What does she need to know? And one of the adults lived 2 hours from my house. It's not like we were in a different country. Hilarious.
Probably the stove. I get really insecure about stoves in the new kitchen.
What? That's
I'm just
hilarious
like,
also.
How long is it going to take to cook? I just
So do you just
because I'm
avoid
used
the
to
situation?
gas. I'm used to gas, and most.
Oh,
stoves
I
now
hate
are
an electric stove.
Yes, it cannot gauge it. Pisses me off.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst. Because you turn it off and it
It's
stays
like
hot.
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
you cannot control the
Maybe
actual
that's
temperature.
how they burned down the.
The first Airbnb house. You're right. All right. This one was my funniest one guy only speaking about my charms. Nothing about the flat. I left in the typos. Dear Airbnb in Elizabeth, winking face emoji. Really, Elizabeth. She's so cute and friendly, always smiling. I like her.
what to say. The hots for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the hots for an Airbnb host?
Actually, in Europe, we've had a few pretty hot European Airbnb hosts. But I was traveling. It's funny because I was traveling with my gay guy friend, and we have the same taste in men. So everywhere we went, we had to play gay or European because it's hard to tell with European men, if they're gay or just very European. We'd be like, he's looking at me. No, he's looking at me. He's not gay. He's just European. No, he's gay. But yeah.
Who had the better
Success rate?
success rate?
Me. Turns out they were just European. No, except for in Mykonos. They definitely were all gay there. But
I think I've seen cute guests, not necessarily hosts.
Hosts.
As a host, I've been like, man, I'm excited she's renting. One time I regretted it immediately because I was just like thinking about my bottom line. But this is my first Airbnb, but it was like she wanted to have like a bikini party, and it was just she only wanted to rent for 1 day, and I was like, I have a 2-day minimum. Sorry.
No.
That's hilarious. All right, this one is pretty funny too. I just hosted a lovely pair of South Korean guests. They didn't speak much English, but they were sweet as pie and seemed to like my place. They left beautiful handmade gifts. Anyways, I just translated their review, and this made me laugh out loud. This is hilarious. The water in the bath comes out well, and the cat that the host grows can also see the bread breaking in front of the heater.
What?
Google Translate is well known for its poor Korean translation, I know. In some ways, I hope they don't improve it because it's such fun.
Bread breaking in front of the heater. I'm just trying to imagine what that could have been.
I know, like what
could have been the bread
it
breaking?
Could have been anything. The cat that they grow. So funny.
I like these.
I know,
like
right?
punchy.
They're fun. Here's one more. In private feedback, but still, I've read it over and over, but I don't understand it. And here's the review. What could leave the note for a future improvement would be a bed. Actually, the bed guard, because the pillows can stand behind the bed on the floor.
Time out.
What? I think this person probably wrote it in their own language and then Google translated it and pasted
it down there.
Yeah, Google
You
Translate.
just wanted better neck support.
See, I actually kind of understand what they meant. I think
Bed
they're saying
guard.
there's no headboard so the pillows like fall behind the bed.
And at least
Good
this
job,
guy
Maha.
said it in the private part instead of just
Right,
like.
instead of blasting them on
Yeah.
the public review.
I appreciate that, I guess.
Need a headboard.
Yeah. So many guys don't have headboards on their beds. Like, we're in our 30s now, guys. Please get a
Who
headboard.
raised you?
I know.
It's
Get
more
a head-
fun
You
with
don't even need a
headboard
footboard.
anyway.
Just get a headboard.
I have headboards in every bedroom.
Of course you do. You've got a $10,000 couch.
I was gonna say the same thing. Of course you have a headboard.
Headboard's actually a real cheap, easy thing to do. You can just get like
I know.
some planks of wood, stick them on the wall real quick.
Guys just don't
Boom,
give a
boom, boom.
fuck.
Because like, where did the pillows go? That's exactly what he was talking about.
I know. That's exactly what they meant.
That was true.
So, Ian, I hear you have some shit we never knew about travel.
The way that I interpret that is things that I also don't know. So this is what I find.
True.
But this week I was, because of all this Airbnb hosting, now Facebook's listening and Google's listening. So
Oh, yeah.
all these new articles are about things that I just found out about in the news that actually took place a long time ago. One was the existence of this new competitor to Airbnb called Plum Guide.
Oh,
And it was founded in 2016, but it's like a luxury Airbnb. And
really?
It's trying to be like the Michelin star of
Oh, wow.
short-term rentals.
It looks super cute.
There was nothing in Atlanta yet. The closest one I put in I was like, oh, let's see what's going on. And then
Where's that Young Thug mansion? It's not on there?
Yeah, right. Well, I think that they had like 100 criteria, and it's got to be reviewed by their own. They have like a team of people to
Nice.
review it, and so
I like that. I feel like the luxury Airbnbs probably have crazier stories than just like the non-luxury ones.
True.
I don't know. What do y'all think?
I could see that. Because you can pay for a wild, crazy time.
Right. You can afford the consequences so you don't give a
I love
fuck.
the weird ones like the tree house or like.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those.
So my cousin and her husband has a treehouse business. Shout out to treehouse experts.
That's
And
tight.
it's been booming because of Airbnb. Like, it's becoming very popular that they build like luxury tree houses for people to Airbnb.
I
They've even
love
built some
that.
overseas. It's pretty awesome.
the famous Atlanta one, like you can't book it anytime this year. It's like booked out for months.
That's
Oh,
what I
really?
was about to ask. Was that one on there?
I feel like is it like all glass kind of? Where is it? I feel like
It's
I've
like
stayed
kinda-
in one in Atlanta,
I've
but
been
I
to
don't
that one
know.
where it's like the glass house.
Yeah, but
My
it's a
friend got
tree house
engaged
still.
there.
Oh, really?
It's like, well, it's not still a tree house, but it's like all glass, and you like walk up this ramp.
Yeah, I think I don't know, maybe it's the same. It's been a
looks
while.
Cool.
Where's the one you're talking about?
Well, I haven't been inside. It was too. I think it's like kind of the the kind of residential area, like in the midtown area, like kind of like treehouse.
Yeah. Oh, Treehouse. I love that restaurant.
Treehouses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to stay at the one that's near Atlanta too.
So when you were saying luxury, like, did you look at some of the listings? What are the prices like for this?
They were pretty comparable. It seemed kind of stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like artsy fartsy, Art Deco stuff, but it's
Huh.
I haven't had a chance to verify, but
Interesting.
yeah, I thought that was cool.
It's pretty cool. That'd be great, like for weddings or special events and stuff like that.
Because their whole pitch is like, how do you know that this guy didn't just get his buddy to rent it?
Right. Yeah, I bet you
Fabricate
could
review.
avoid a lot of these terrible Airbnb stories by these checks
don't they
that
have to
they
go
have
out
in
and
place.
visit it and like look at it physically?
Yeah, they sent one of their people out. So I was like,
That's
should
awesome.
I apply?
Yeah, maybe you should.
Mostly to see what it's like, what that process is like.
And also, you could probably charge twice as much because it's considered luxury.
That's where the margins are at. So, yeah. So I found out about that, and then I also came across like some stupid publication, but I found out about a term called house hacking, and it was just coined by this Bigger Pockets podcast host named Brandon Turney, I don't know, back in 2018. But it just describes taking your living space and Airbnb out part of it, basically, or renting it out short term. And basically what I've been doing for a long time. But I saw it because an article about some house hacker making a lot of money, having now passive income. And there's all these people who go from one property to a bunch, and they're doing well off. So.
Like you start just renting part of your own house and then grow it
never
from
knew
there.
the term.
I've never heard of
house
that.
hacker.
House hacker.
Cool.
I always thought of house hacks.
Yeah.
Like this is how you use my remote.
Or here's like a hidden spice rack that pulls out from the kitchen, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Well, at least you know what to call it now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the third thing I found out that existed this week, even though it came out in July 2020, is a movie that you can stream on Amazon Prime right now.
Really?
It takes place. It's a horror movie, and it's it takes place at an Airbnb, like a cabin.
Oh, really?
And then the host is the killer.
Well, did you just give away the ending, or
no?
Okay,
you know that from the trailer. That's just all I watched.
Oh my god, is it low budget or is it a
No,
legit movie?
It's Dave Franco's directorial debut, and it's actually got good reviews, and they're talking about a sequel. So
interesting.
That sounds good.
I think we should all rent in a cabin.
Yeah,
watch it in the cabin. Take mushrooms in the cabin.
Definitely.
Oh, we can do murder mystery in the cabin.
And we have to record it,
mystery,
too.
Yeah.
Who's the killer?
Well,
we'll find out.
Is it one of us?
Right.
That could be really scary. That's a good watch for our listeners.
Yeah.
Check that out.
What was it called? Do you remember?
It's called The Rental.
Okay. What was it streaming on?
Prime.
Nice.
Prime Video.
Nice.
I like that. That was
All
fun.
right,
You know what else is fun?
Game? Am I
Game
going?
time!
All right. So we're going to do a little Prices Right with Airbnbs that I found.
This is Ian's idea he came up with the other night.
On CBD. First one. I don't want you to get the price. All right.
I'm already ready to cheat.
I need to make 2 windows here. Hold up.
Price is right. Price is right. Price is right. That's actually a pretty good show. Does it still come on?
It does. I feel like that was a trivia question I encountered the other day.
Drew Carey hosts that.
That was the question was who's the current host of The Price is Right?
Drew Carey.
Oh.
Okay.
I think he was the host.
All right, who knows?
All right, now we've established the host and we recall the rules. I think it's the closest to the actual
without going over.
Okay. All right, so we're going traditional Price is Right rules. But this first one is. Here we go. All right, it is a candy-themed vacation home. The article says the candy-themed vacation home is the sweetest getaway ever because it's just candy everywhere. If you guys look,
it's like
you got
Willy Wonka.
Kind of Willy Wonka, but the Airbnb article. I don't want to mess it up. There we go. Sleeps. This is the title of the Airbnb. Sleeps 52.
52.
52.
Sweet escape on 5 private gated acres. 16 guests, because that's the max you can put. And then 10 bedrooms, 24 beds, 6 baths.
What is this?
So this is an entire hotel, resort then, right?
It's 5. I don't know. Let's flip through some of these photos. So what we're looking at here, see if we see there's a...
Oh, it's an ice cream cone shaped swimming pool.
Yeah.
So cute.
There is... I don't know. I guess they're just candy colored stuff. One room looks like.
Each room has a theme.
Yeah, candy
that's
cane.
what it looks like. This is the peppermint room. This is the lemon head room.
Oh, we got the M&M room.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it's just a big bed. I think it's just a lot of bedrooms with a lot of bunk beds.
It seems like the type of shit Kim and Kanye would rent for their kid's birthday or something like that. I don't know that I even know 52 people that I could rent a location with.
And get in one house.
One house. All right.
And not kill each other.
This can't be a house. That's got to be like a resort. What sleeps 52 people?
How much does it cost? Then you can start doing
That's
the
true.
math.
It could just be like
What's the nightly rate?
I'm gonna guess 1,000.
52 people?
Because I
was gonna go in the
That comes
complete
out to like $20 a person.
I know, right?
I don't think it's like comfortable.
Shit, $1,000 a night.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of bunk
I
beds.
think it's like, you can put 52 people in here. But
I feel like that swimming pool alone is probably like, that's very custom and expensive. I don't know. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say $10,000 a night.
10 bands a night.
I mean, it sleeps 52 people.
For a
That's
house
still,
you
like...
can eat.
Is anything edible in the house? Because
No,
that would be amazing.
no. But you're wrong. It's $1,255. You blew it. Of course, Anne's nailed it.
Oh, wow.
This doesn't look comfortable.
Could you say
I didn't cheat. I just know that recently me and my mom were looking at big, like, expensive Airbnbs for like 60th-ish birthday parties, like 65, 70. And it was this big ass freaking house in Georgia, and it was only like a band a night.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen something on Airbnb that
10,000.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was looking for stories, I did see a few things, but it was like Khloe Kardashian and like people that like celebrities that made Airbnb kind of more of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Their nightly rates are
Well, that's a really good segue into my next.
Yes, I
one of
love
the
when there's a
games,
good segue.
which is I don't know if you call it celebrity. Or he's not involved. But spend a night in Home Alone in this movie tribute in a Dallas Airbnb. It's called The Kevin.
Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, well, he's not involved. Like I
So
said,
does the house, is it reminiscent of the Home Alone house?
I mean, what do we got here? We got the Jordan cutout.
Is that oh my gosh,
got-
that's hilarious. They like
like
modeled it
that.
They modeled
after.
it exactly after Home Alone. You got
That's
like the same.
expensive.
And that's such a good idea. That house was big as fuck too in
it
Home
was.
Alone.
And
It was. A lot of
the
kids.
listing says, I don't want to show you guys so we don't have Anne's cheat again, but
I didn't really cheat.
all right.
I didn't really cheat.
I didn't really cheat. Okay, I'll be truthful.
Okay, talk to
So I thought of the amount when you were describing it, and I was looking at the photos, 1,000. And then I did see the number, and I was like,
I knew it.
I'm right.
That's not technically. I mean,
I really did. Because
If we were to believe that, that's not technically
based on
cheating.
the photos, I was like, because normally they could have did a little bit more candy custom. The pool was fire, but the rooms, okay, Eminem bed sheets.
that's what I'm saying. That was kind of bullshit.
I guess.
That was bullshit.
Nothing edible.
That was,
That's the most disappointing part to me. But this is
Yeah,
awesome.
speaking of the opposite of that, we have the Kevin comes with a free cheese pizza.
Oh my
And it's, I
gosh.
guess the box for the movie. I haven't like fact checked them or anything. Like whatever they say. If this is if these
what
are
they
his
say.
clothes. I mean, this is his toys, his little figurines.
this is expensive.
Dude,
All
I
right,
feel like this is somebody that was just already obsessed with Home Alone and then was like, oh, might as well make it an Airbnb experience. 'cause-
I was worried it was going to be booby trapped the entire house.
Yeah.
So you walk in there, you
that'd
get
be
hit with
tight.
a fucking
bucket in the face.
bucket.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right. Well, before you guess the price, let me give you some stats. All right. The entire house hosted by Jeremy and Kelsey, so it's a couple. And then 6 guests can stay there, 2 bedrooms, 4 beds, 1 bath. How much is it a night? And I'll also let you know that we have 51 reviews and it's a superhost situation. So
Okay. 1 bath. But it's only 2 bedrooms, though, right?
1 bath, 2 bedrooms. Yeah, this is not.
It's a small house.
You can't sleep 52 people in.
Yeah.
1 bath.
She's so offended by the 1 bathroom.
I'm confused by that.
I did
It's only 2 bedrooms. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. That's a thing.
You have to have 2 baths in a. I mean,
Yeah, that's insane.
if you don't want to
I
get
mean,
yelled
that's
at.
how older houses are. Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's
That's how
older.
old houses are. All right, I'm
And it
gonna.
looks so spacious.
Yeah, I don't think you
It
can
does.
recreate. You can't send them up to your room in the attic in this one. It's
Oh
just
yeah, that's where Kevin lived, and that's how they forgot him.
you can't recreate the dinner scene because that's a small
A little baby dining
4-person
table.
table.
But it does look like it. It's
It
kind of
does look
crazy.
like it.
All right,
I'm gonna say
where is it located?
Yeah.
Dallas,
Okay.
Tejas.
Okay. I'm gonna say 300 a night.
I'm gonna opposite 2,000.
All right. You got-
We are all over the place.
it doesn't actually involve Macaulay Culkin.
Right.
It
There's no
was.
meet and greet involved.
You guys are
$2,000.
blowing
I
off.
think about
There's
like,
one bathroom, Ansley. Did you forget?
oh yeah.
It's $159 a night. A very reasonable price. You
That
can-
is very reasonable.
I was thinking more about obsessed people.
yeah, like
that
super
maybe-
fans.
Yeah, super
Okay.
fans. And they had like some artifacts from the actual movie possibly in there. But maybe not.
We suck at this. We have no feel of what the market is like right now.
I kind of got the vibe that like, okay, maybe they did something offset.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they have like authentic memorabilia.
They never claimed that, although
they don't.
I was Ace Ventura for Halloween one year recently.
I can see that.
And I was trying to find the pants. It's red and black vertical stripes.
Yeah.
That pattern, I literally flipped through a whole pattern website with like just pattern, nothing like that. And then I found like a 1800s reenactment shit. What's it called? Renaissance.
Oh yeah.
It was a Renaissance like website, and they had the same pants pattern except on the sides they had like this like crisscross like pirate shit. So I just had my mom mend it in the middle, and then boom.
It like tied up on the sides?
Yeah. But the only other option was on eBay. At that time, I don't know if it's, obviously someone's probably purchased it by now, or maybe not. But Ace Ventura's actual pants from the movie were available for like $1,400 if I really wanted to nail the costume.
Real $1,400.
And then you could do an Ace Ventura themed apartment in South Florida.
And just put the pants in a frame.
Boom.
Boom. There you go. You should do that. Any more? Do you have any more prices?
I only came up with 2 because you guys suck at this game.
Actually, I did good in the first one, even though
you got worse.
Because you cheated.
I was honest.
Strategically,
I do appreciate the honesty.
Strategically, when she guessed, what was your guess again? 300 something?
Yeah, 300.
You should have gone
299. Have you never watched The Price is Right? Come on.
I know.
Strategy.
Fuck that.
2000. All right. Well, Anns, don't you have some something for us for where to go, what to do? Just quick little.
Oh yeah, I do have that. I was having so much fun. Okay. So, all right. If you're ever going to Vermont, you should stop by Waterbury, I hope that's how you pronounce it, and visit the Ben & Jerry's Flavor Graveyard. Thought it was super...
That is so interesting.
So weird. So super interesting. So, of course, you'll want to visit the Ben & Jerry's Waterbury factory, too. But this site, where dead and long-forgotten ice cream flavors are put to rest, is too wonderfully strange to pass up. Once you've gotten your scoop from the factory scoop shop, head behind the building to pay your respects to flavors that have passed on.
Oh, wow.
So they literally have, like, tombstones.
But
like,
you don't get to try those flavors, I guess.
No, they're dead.
Yeah, okay.
Dead. They're just
no zombie ice cream. All right.
So they literally have
the photos. That's snow in the ground. So I feel like the ice cream would stay cold.
It's true.
Wait a minute. What?
I don't know.
If they're like, all right, this is our last batch of pistachio bashio, we're putting it over here.
Oh, when they buried it, the last scoop.
That's true.
And plus, you can like even.
I wonder if they really do have like a pint buried under the
even in warmer climates, you can bury things and it gets cold just from like you can bury a keg
rock from the sun.
You can bury a keg in the beach under the sand and it'll stay cold.
Really? Why have I never buried a keg at a beach?
Like before music festival the week before.
Do you have to dig?
Like 2 feet, 3 feet.
That's it.
And you remember exactly where you buried it.
You
mark
it with stuff. Yeah, I think we use like a flag or something.
You lived a life.
I know, right? And continues to do so.
Just a cheap college student trying to party.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy that they each have a tombstone, each have a little picture. They have little wings on the cones.
That's so cute.
And then they have like, I guess like the recipe of how like, and then when it...
If you want to bring it back to life and Frankenstein
Does it say any of the flavors? Like, are any of them just like really gross?
So this one says, this one actually sounds pretty crazy. Shooty balls.
No wonder they killed that.
This one said, okay, inspired by the classic SNL sketch that dished the Shooty family recipe you can't resist, our rum and malt ball filled creation fueled a Shooty frenzy across the nation. The flavors de-pinted, but you can still see the SNL sketch online and on TV. 2011.
Yeah, Ben & Jerry, they're like big stoners, hence like all the crazy stoner flavors, right?
And that's also like a topical reference that is that skit's not.
Yeah, it's nobody's gonna know what that's referencing
Stephen Colbert
anymore.
retires, they're gonna retire America. I guess they're gonna kill off America and Dream. They're gonna put a tombstone.
It's gonna go to the graveyard.
Last batch of that ice cream underneath the ground.
Oh, I love that stuff.
And they each have like little different shapes for the tombstone. This is So if you're in Vermont, Waterbury, go to the graveyard for ice cream.
I've never been to Vermont. Have y'all?
No.
On an Airbnb in Waterbury.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'll go eat some ice cream. I'll eat the shit out of some Ben and Jerry's. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Don't threaten Maha.
All right, well, that was fun, guys.
I know. We wrapped up the episode.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening to Once Upon a BNB. This is Moneybags Maha.
Ian.
And this is Annsleigh. And